sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside. Richards pursued. He pushes Jensen away. Pat Richards has scored.
G'day there, guys. How are we today? Welcome to the Catbros for another week. And I have with me Aaron, of course, who just showed up.
Hello. Yeah, that's me. Fresh off of doing my civic duty after work. Here I am.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about the Tigers game, but we'll leave that for now. It's probably a sore point.
You mean the Tigers played on the weekend? Are you sure?
I mean, I don't think you're going to be allowed to forget it.
This is news to me. The Tigers didn't play on the weekend, did they?
That's awkward. No, but yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to it. Yes. Feels like it's, yeah, we're going to have to. I mean, that was not cool. That was not good. But otherwise, how is everything?
It goes.
It
goes.
Yes.
That'll do me for the moment.
Yeah, I think we'll find out soon enough. So on tonight's agenda, we've got a couple things lined up. We've got a clip from NRL 360. Two things they talk about in particular. One is obstruction rules, and there's one that Trent Barrett called out from the Bulldogs-Broncos game. Off a scrum where the Broncos scored. The other topic they talk about is the Tigers. The exact context, I don't know, so it'll be fun to see what they have to say about it. And then, other than that, media we've got is there is an article, fun about the independent doctors being in the bunker and not out in the field. So we'll go through that together. I haven't read it yet. So it's always
there's been a bit of conjecture about that one, hasn't there?
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's loving that at the moment. So, yeah. So we'll give it a minute and we'll get into it.
Let me just get my mouse because that's a thing I got to grab before. I am prepared, guys, I promise.
probably more prepared than the Tigers were on the weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah. Nah, I didn't want us to start too late, so yeah, I got Ryan to get the stream going while I was almost home. So I've literally just ran into my room and gotten ready to roll. Okay. I've got the watch together open.
Excellent. So yeah, you should be seeing it on the screen now, which should be good. If not, oops.
Yep, I can see it on the stream. On the screen, we are all good.
See? We're professionals. It's okay. You can trust us.
We know what we're doing, guys. Promise.
Alright, so I'll go and play this. Obviously, we're gonna have to be careful of like copyright stuff and whatnot. So we'll be pausing quite regularly.
South Sydney. Here they are. Trent Barrett. Now he blew up after the game. A couple of dodgy calls, he believes, with Farnworth, the two Farnworth tries. This one here was...
Oh, 2. Sorry, I didn't realise there was 2. I just thought it was this one off the scrum. I don't even remember the other one. Do you remember a second one?
To be quite honest, I was not keen on watching this game after what I saw before it, so...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the timing might have been... That's the...
Yeah, this game was at an unfortunate time.
Yes, it falls into that 6 or 12 hour block where rugby league doesn't exist. The heartbreak moment.
Yeah, a lot of the time I won't watch games if the Tigers play disastrously.
Yeah.
Which doesn't bode well if we play on Thursdays, which thankfully this year only happens once, so...
Yeah. I'm curious to see whether I end up agreeing with them or not on what they say, because I remember when they were like talking about the cannonball tackles, and they're like, these are really bad tackles, they need to be dealt with. And I'm like, holy crap, I agree with NRL 360 on something.
And here we are a few weeks later, and they still haven't dealt with the cannonball tackle.
I don't understand how. Like, that really bugs the hell out of me. They're a pretty serious tackle. Like, I don't know. It can cause, you got season-ending injuries there, so I don't know, it really bugs the hell out of me. I can understand why the media get up at that stuff. Like, it's not fake outrage, that one. That one's like, deal with this.
The obstruction play as he hits the outside shoulder there. Oh, I mean,
Barrett's 100% right.
That's a penalty every day of the week.
Yeah, this one is a penalty. I agree. In my belief, this is a penalty. Hits the outside shoulder of Burns. Burns cannot then release even that. There
you go. So what do you think of that? But they come off the scrum. Burns goes through the outside shoulder of the defender. It's not particularly like egregious. He doesn't barrel him over or anything. He doesn't take a dive, I think is the correct way to say that. But yeah, what do you reckon?
Based on the letter of the law with how they're officiating them these days, I think that absolutely should have been overruled. Yeah. I mean, I've seen worse than that be awarded a try. And I've also seen something not even that extreme be overruled. So, yeah, I'm definitely on the boat of if you wanna pull it up, pull it up. If you're gonna relax it around some things, then relax it around everything. Just go hard or go home, essentially.
Yeah, I know it can end in some bad decisions from time to time, but I do like black and white rules simply because when you see something happen, I like it not being a surprise what the decision's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like if something happens on field in the moment, I'll like to know, right, that's going to be a penalty. That's not going to be a penalty. That's going to be a knock on. That's going to be a strip. Whatever the rule might be at the time. But I don't like it being that 50-50 thing, which is going to happen with some things. But something like obstruction doesn't need to be, I think. It's nice to know, right, oh yeah, he took the outside shoulder, he impeded the defence, well, it's your own fault. And when our guys do it now, even before the penalty, something's called, like a penalty's called, I'll be sitting there yelling at the TV at my own guys, like, what the hell are you doing? Get out of the defensive line, you know?
Yeah, they've got to get on top of it. Like, you can't pull some things up and not others. It's frustrating for the fans, to say the least.
Well, yeah, because it creates an image of bias. Like, why is our team getting it and not the other team, and so on? When really it's just inconsistency. But either way, it's not good.
Welcome, AJ. Oop. Sorry, I was just going to welcome AJ. However, I dislike that hashtag greatly.
Oh, that was glorious. I just looked at the chat. Oh, that is brilliant, AJ. I love it. I love it.
I do not. I dislike. Where's the thumbs down button?
Oh, now we know why YouTube removed the dislike from videos.
Block.
Oh. Actually, yeah, the interesting part is I don't think we would actually fit him anywhere. Like, he wouldn't really have a spot.
No,
I mean,
you seem like you've got everything covered.
Like, our pack is pretty good at full strength. I mean, right now, I mean, if Tigers want to lend him for like a couple of weeks, I wouldn't argue the point.
No thanks. No thanks. I protest.
It's gonna be civil war in Western Sydney. You watch.
Isn't it already?
Yeah, but I think if we took Twall just randomly out of the blue, just showed up next week. Oh, by the way, I'm playing for Penrith now. I think there would legitimately be riots in the streets.
I would cry.
Ball then walks in and commits.
It's only minor contact, but the rule is the rule.
But why didn't the bunker get involved in that?
Because he didn't take a dive. I'm going to say it straight up. That's why. Like,
there have been a few where players have dived, and a few times where they dive and they don't actually get it. And a few times where they dive and they do actually get it. I think...
Yeah, Kickout's had that. He's tried to take a dive and not got it.
Didn't Mitch Moses try to take a dive on the weekend? And I forget whether they.
If he did, I don't. Not. If he did, I don't remember the specific play.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, might have been in the second half. I think it might have been in the second half when the Sharks were trying to make their comeback.
Yep. Yeah, I don't remember the specific play because the second half of that game I was in the kitchen preparing foods.
Yeah, I was watching and dreading 4:00 on Sunday.
Yeah, I remember I was really annoyed because the commentary sounded really excited too, and I'm like, oh man, stuff's happening.
Yeah, like a wild last-minute try followed by a after the siren conversion. I mean, It wasn't the most difficult conversion in the world, so...
But still, that timing would be heartbreaking. Like, if you're an Eels fan.
Yeah, because they held them out so well for bulk of that game, and it was literally just that last play.
Yeah. So that does make me think, is it just me or are we getting a lot more closer games this year?
We are. Like, I think I saw something while I was on my break at work today saying that the average margin through 2 rounds this year is the lowest average in like the last 10 years or something. So it was like, I saw it on Twitter. I'll try and find it again and send it to you so you can pull it up.
Kicks round 2 last year against the Storm, tried milking a penalty, then got up and saved the try. I remember that. It was like he was dead. He was like, I'm dying. And then he got his hand under the ball at the other end of the field, other side of the field. That was kind of amusing. But I mean, it is kind of the way of it now.
Well,
And
is
that's
it
what,
because,
no,
to
that's what
Baz's
we had an
point,
argument about this last week. All we want is common sense, and the big word is consistency.
we're never going to get that, Phil.
I like how Hooper, who is
Buzzwords.
Yeah, but I like how Hooper is one, a disgrace to the bald community. I disown him. And two, he's like, oh, we'll never get that. You can with some things. The obstruction rule is one you can have 100% consistency on. It's what I was talking about before, where you just call it black and white. If you break certain parameters in the play, like the outside shoulder and all that sort of stuff, you can call it. It's perfectly consistent because as soon as people see it, they'll know what it's going to be called. Like that, right? If they were calling it 100% to the letter of the law every time, when you see that, Broncos fans will know, shit, that's not a try. And then they'll wait for it to get called back and everyone will be happy. Sure, they might be like, oh, it's a bit soft, but they can't complain that it's inconsistent, though.
Yeah, it's that buzzword. It's the consistency that we don't have, that we all really, really want.
And you'll never have it 100%, but like you said, obstruction is one of those rules that lends itself to being consistent a bit better.
Yeah, because there's been so many, like even in the last few seasons, there's been so many tries that have been overruled for very, very, very minor obstruction happenings, I guess.
Well, we had it against Manly in round 1, where Toto scored, and they said a player got in the way of maybe DC, I can't remember now, because we had 2 taken off at the start of the game. I thought the first one with Liam Martin going through the defence was fair enough. It was a bit like this one here with the dogs off the scrum, and I didn't really complain too much, but the second one was a bit more dodgy in my opinion, because he kind of goes to go in field, stops before he gets to the player where the other Penrith player was. The Manly player goes to get him, but Toto does that massive right foot step which practically breaks like time and space. So the Manly player misses him and kind of ends up towards the other Penrith player, and they're like, oh, it's an obstruction. It's like, no, he just got beat by a good step. Calm down. So yeah, just goes to what you were saying about some that have been a bit soft.
They need to just like straight up just do it or don't do it. There really is no in the middle, and they're trying to find that in the middle, and when you're trying to find that in the middle is when the consistency goes down the toilet.
Yeah. I don't think, because they're trying to please too many, like, 2 different points of view, because half the sort of fans want just black and white rules so they know what's happening, like I do, and then the other half want this feel of the game, fluffy, common sense thing, whatever it's supposed to mean, where it's like, oh, well, the player wasn't really impeded that much, so you might as well just let it be a try. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I like the black and white rules myself, but that's the problem. They're trying to appease both sides, and you can't. It's never possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we've been arguing about that since Adam was in nappies.
They're taking tries off other teams for very similar things, and this one they just didn't bother.
Yeah, but the bunker would have looked at it, Buzz. They just would have said it was okay.
They would have looked at it, not ruled.
Because
Braden Burns didn't go down.
Well.
Because Braden Burns didn't take a dive. That's the inference that Trent.
And he's right. We said it before. Like, yes, it can happen, but in a situation like that, I think it would have been called. Because he took the outside shoulder.
Yep.
Whereas like the one with kick out, for instance, I think they just sort of ran into each other and he was like, took a big swan dive and looked really dramatic and stuff. But I think this one would have been called. I think Trent Barrett's right about that.
There was one in probably one of my favorite games I've ever been to. It was at Leichhardt in, I believe, 2017. We played Manly. We were behind 26 or 24-6 or something at halftime, and ended up winning the game with a try in the final 2 minutes or something. The crowd erupted like we had just won the grand final. It was absolutely bonkers, but it gets sent up to the video ref. Wasn't the bunker at the time. It gets sent up to the video ref, and the whole thing is about an obstruction on Manly, where Cherry Evans took the biggest dive in the history of diving.
Yeah.
And it was clearly a dive, and we were all terrified that it was going to get overruled and we'd lose the game because of that. But no, we ended up getting the call, getting the try, and getting the win.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, we played the Sharks at Leichhardt. I think it was earlier that year as well, where there's a James Tedesco try overruled because Aaron Woods, when he got up to play the ball, had his hand very flat and very loose on Paul Gallen's chest, who was at marker, and Gallen takes a massive dive backwards, and they overrule the try because of that.
Yeah, I remember that. That one stood out.
I was there at the game with my dad. It was one of the first games I've ever been to with Dad, and we were furious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that one was a really bad one.
There was no way Gallen was going to get involved in the play. There was no way he was going to make it to where Tedesco was because it's Paul Gallen. The memes that came out afterwards as well. But yeah, that was annoying. It was one of those ones where there's no way in hell that was ever an obstruction, but they called it and we ended up losing the game by 8 points or something.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have guaranteed us the win, but it would have given us a better shot.
Well, yeah, that's it. It took away any chance you had of winning.
Barrett is suggesting is that if this is the way the game is going, then I'll coach Braden Burns to go down.
Which is right. This is the failing of the officials, because if Braden Burns had done the theatrical dive and fallen down, we all would have blown up at that goal, mate, seriously. But if he needed to do that to underline that he'd been infringed upon, then he's going to have to do that, isn't he?
We don't want
but,
rugby
no,
league to
I know
come
we don't want that, but that's why the bunker they should be dead set putting their hand up and saying, we apologise. Doesn't matter.
No, I think that's a pretty good spot to leave it with that clip, but no, we don't want the game being like that. Just officiate the rules. Sorry. And stop incentivizing players to take a dive, because everyone's going to complain about it constantly. But the fact of the matter is, it works.
There also needs to be, I guess, some sort of degree of common sense used. Yeah, letter of the law is good, but can you add common sense in there? Such and such player was too far away from the play, never going to make it, still award the try or something like that. Or when it's clear that a player has made the defensive decision, or quote unquote made the defensive decision, but made it look like they've been impeded.
It'd have to be really obvious.
Which players could very easily exploit, I guess.
Yeah, it has to be really, really super duper obvious that it's not an obstruction some way or another.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to our next one. I think I found what I'm looking for.
Sheens has called for calm, and he's backed the coach Maguire today.
Yeah, look, I ranked Tim Sheens today, and I thought I'd find him angry after yesterday's loss to the Knights.
I mean, if he's not, I know some people who are.
I've got my hand in the air right now.
Pick me.
Oh, me.
Yeah, that's what all the Tigers fans. Like, it's a bit like that. Like, that was not good. They look like they didn't even show up. Like, mentally, they just didn't care.
I mean, the opportunity was right there. No Ponga, kind of a makeshift halves. Just the recipe for success was there. Bomb the hell out of Tex Hoy and make sure he drops a few and chase hard. Like, that was the playbook right there. They just didn't follow it. 9 minutes in, we've conceded 2 tries and everything went to hell.
Yeah,
as is commonplace.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I was quite happy with, just as a neutral, watching the game against the Storm. They looked okay and they had something to build on. But as is the thing that really bugs me about the Tigers is watching them, is the fact they go have a good game and they just refuse to back it up. That game annoyed me so much. I went and restarted my scripted video. Completely rewrote 1,000 words because it was not okay. The attitude. Like, I wouldn't mind if they were showing good attitude and showing up and playing well, but that was disgusting.
It was abysmal.
Yeah, people want to talk about sacking Madge and that, but like, at the end of the day, he can do the best he can, but if the players just don't care, if they're just showing up for their paycheck, like, anyone in any job, like, you just show up, you get paid whatever and do not care. There's nothing he's going to be able to do about that.
Yeah, it was a really poor performance, and in my view, I don't think they competed. And I know they've got injuries, and they don't have Adam Dewey there, but they've got a $900,000 halfback in Luke Brooks, and I thought Jackson Hastings played well. But Tim wouldn't have a bar of being critical of anyone.
I mean, I think that's probably a bit, like, I get he's probably got to do it, working there in his position and all that, but there are people worth criticizing. Cough, Peachy, cough.
Yeah, don't remind me of that. I could absolutely lose my shit at what I witnessed there.
Yeah, that was not okay. I just, like, he was so blasé about it all. He was just having the time of his life and giving away the dumbest penalties and stuff, and like, he clearly did not care in the slightest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I know it's your job, it's not life or death or anything, but bro, you're getting paid a lot of money to go out there and win. That's basically the point. And the fans are paying all this money. AJ Mullins wasn't Peach the captain as well? Yes, he was. I think.
No. He's one of the 5.
Yeah, that's right. He's one of the 5.
He wasn't the named captain for the game. That was Ken Mamalo.
Yeah, so the winger, who didn't have a particularly great game himself either, but at least he wasn't as bad as Peachy.
Did any of them have a particularly great game?
I think
I could name maybe 3.
I think Hastings was good.
I could name maybe 3 or 4. I'd say Hastings,
yep,
Stefano, Luciano, and Kelmer.
Yeah. So, which out of a 17-man roster, that's probably not what you're looking for.
That's a bench worth of players. There's still a whole other 13 of them.
Yeah, which is not good enough. And especially Brooks. Like, he's been there long enough now. Like, what is he doing? He had a decent game last week. I was reasonably happy with it. I don't understand, especially him. He should be the spiritual leader of this team. He's been there long enough. Tigers Junior, like, he's got it all for him. Getting paid big money. The halfback. Like, I don't understand him. Really, I just don't. And everyone knows I've supported Brooks because one of the last videos I did 11 months ago was supporting Luke Brooks and saying, hey, let's not criticize him too bad.
Yeah, it's Brooksy. He's kind of polarizing, isn't he? Old Brooksy. He gets a rough trot of it, but it's kind of self-inflicted at times, I suppose.
He's got the same problem Staines had last year, where it's like he just goes through the motions and does what his job requires, but he's not. Like, you look at Jackson Hastings next to him, and he looks like he's trying to be busy and trying to get involved. You know, like, his team might not win, but at least he's going to have a go. And like this week, Brooks didn't do that. Like, maybe he thought he was. I don't know. Maybe I'm being completely unfair. I hate the idea that I'm being unfair to players. I don't want that. But like, there was no energy there. Leilua always turns up. Some of his runs are top tier. Yeah, they're going to miss him next year, I think.
For sure. I will definitely miss him next year. I know a lot of other Tigers fans will, but I also feel like we've got a fairly adequate replacement coming our way in the form of Isaiah Papali'i.
Yeah, so. Yeah, he's alright. It'll be good. But it's like you mentioned, 3 or 4 players, that's not good enough. So you've got a roster of 17. I don't know. It's needs to be better.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Full support behind the playing group, and his full support behind Michael Maguire. Yeah. And pointed out that the competition's 2 weeks old, that we sat around, or I did, calling for Des to go after 4 rounds last year.
Okay, I get that. But at least everyone kind of understood when Turbo got back that he'd improve the team.
Mm-hmm.
As one of the better players in the comp, we knew that was going to happen, and that's fair enough. Yeah, they get called a one-man team and all that, but yeah, it is what it is.
His individual season last year was pretty godly, though.
Yeah. Like, whereas this is a Tigers team with everything to play for, 2 rounds into a season, and they look like they've already switched off.
It doesn't bode well when you're already coming second last, 0-2, with another 22 games to go. It just does not bode well, and given the last decade, us Tigers fans have had enough. I'm unfortunately already at the point where I'm kind of just like, maybe we are actually just going to get the spoon this year. Is there any way to avoid it?
I don't know. It's looking very likely because look at the rest of the comp around them. They've all improved. And I thought, hey, Justin's here. Hey, Justin. Yeah, I thought they would improve a bit as well. Like, especially having like Jackson Hastings there, bring a bit of like that enthusiasm and his experience in there, and you know, having Dane Laurie having a preseason there. Yeah, he was pretty good last year until he got injured. So just little things I thought would come together and help them improve a little bit as well. But I don't know. I can't get a read on them.
Have a look at how close the season is so far after 2 rounds. We've finished the first 2 rounds. There are 4 teams who are undefeated, 4 teams who are winless, and 2 of them are the Rabbits and the Eagles. And then 8 teams in the middle, all with a 1-1 record.
Yeah, this season's going to be much closer.
If the Tigers had managed to win, there would be 3 teams undefeated, 3 teams 0-2, and all of the other 10 teams all 1-1. You probably don't often see something that close after 2 rounds. And then in saying that, like I said, two of the teams who are 0-2 are the Rabbits and the Eagles, two of last year's top four. And then, no offense to the Broncos, but no one would have expected them to be 2-0 going into the season either. Like, especially when their first opponents were the Rabbits.
Yeah, no one
And
would have
just
seen that coming.
Yeah. Like, it's probably one of the closest starts to a season in recent memory. Maybe there won't be that gap between 6 and 7 this year. Like, you look at the Eels, they went down to the Sharks.
No, it's going to be close.
The Rabbits have gone down to the Broncos. The Panthers had an almighty scare against the Dragons. The Storm had an almighty scare against the Tigers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I said it last year that the comp would improve. I was 12 months early, and that's happened now. And the Tigers look like they were there. Like, it looked good against the Storm. I don't care what anyone says whether they should have won or not, but at least the mentality was them, and they could. I don't know. They're going to get left behind hard. I think they're a very good chance of winning the Spoon, just going on the way they are so far.
Sorry, who were you talking about? The Tigers?
Yeah, I've never felt like they're going to get the Spoon. I've always felt like they can beat those bottom couple of teams, but you look at it, the Cowboys, the Dragons, the Bulldogs, all these teams are playing with an effort and an energy and a purpose that most teams are. The Tigers are one of the few after this week where they don't look like they have that.
The only thing I can say that I guess is a positive to come out of this is the short turnaround we have to this week's game. We have a 5-day turnaround, and we're back playing the Warriors, and hopefully that can shut up a bit of the noise. If we can at least play well against the Warriors, maybe get that first win.
So what do you think? Tear the Band-Aid off and just get straight back on the field as quick as possible?
Yeah, like they always say, the best thing after a bad loss is to get back out there, play again, and get rid of the external noise. We've got that chance now with the 5-day turnaround into the Warriors game, but I don't know, probably no Hastings, because I think he's been named, but I don't think he's going to be playing.
I assume because he's been named, he's fighting the charge. I haven't looked up on it.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too as soon as I saw that.
There's no way they would have done that without it. Though, isn't that Tuesday nights? Or maybe tonight we'll find out.
Yeah, the judiciary happens on Tuesday night, so my guess is that he is not fighting the charge, just the grading. He might try and get it dropped to a grade 1, which might be a fine. Which is probably why he's been named.
I mean, as long as they get him back, the sooner they get him back, the better. Like, it's he's pretty much your best at the moment. So,
I mean, we've got Jock Madden in the 19 jersey. He'll obviously be the one who comes in to 6 if Hastings is out, and he'll probably play for. Well, he'll have to play for 2 weeks because Hastings, 2 weeks. Actually, no, he'll end up having to play for 3 weeks because if he loses the at the judiciary, then he'll probably have to sit out that extra week.
Yeah, he's hoping, because I don't know how the Tigers go with that. I don't think they'll survive it.
Unless he pleads guilty, but they try to get the downgrade. So if he pleads guilty, then maybe he'll only miss the 2 weeks if he loses the fight to downgrade. I don't know. I'm just speculating at this point, but I really hope he can play because
you need him.
Like we kind of need him out there if we're to be any hope of anything.
Yeah, you've got no choice in that. Brooks isn't going to carry it on his own. And then who are you going to put at 6 while Dewey's not there? Peachy's going to be it. Have fun.
Well, there's Jock Madden.
Look.
There's Jock Madden, and then you can probably have Peachy come on if Jock needs a break.
Yeah. honestly, it's getting to the point now where if Brooks doesn't shape up with Madden, Hastings, and Dewey to come back, Brooks might have to just look out.
Bags.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he needs to just pick up his energy and involvement a bit.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be patient. He said there will not be a knee-jerk reaction at the West Tigers, and he wants to give him more time.
Yeah,
now, whether he's in that mood in a month's time, Canty, if they keep getting rolled, I doubt it.
They were insipid yesterday.
It's the way they get rolled too.
They were insipid. Newcastle beat them with energy and effort.
The concern, though, is you're getting down on energy and effort in round 2.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you agree with Kenty.
My God.
Stop
Hang
the
on.
presses.
Hang on. I'm going to have to go wash my mouth out. Hang on. We'll just edit this later and no one will know.
Bleep it.
But he's right. And since he's mentioned that, like, because I didn't watch this, but I know they mentioned the Tigers and I knew it would be in this clip because of that. Like I saw on the online somewhere, it got mentioned that they talked about the Tigers, which you knew was coming. It's Fox; they can't help themselves. But
something goes bad at the Tigers. We must immediately talk about them.
Shout it from the rooftops.
We must immediately disparage them further.
But I can tell what he's going to say because I had the same thought. It's round 2, and that was the kind of thing where you might expect a team later in the year after like a hard year, like maybe in around Origin time or maybe after Origin. Like if you have a couple of players, but everyone's getting fatigued. That was what the thing it made me think of was that was when Warriors would have some good games. Like, and they'd start taking advantage of a lot of those top teams who were missing players for Origin and they'd get a few wins up. I remember that was a thing for a couple of years in a row, and that's what it made me think of. Like, but this is round 2. You've just come off a preseason, and you've just had a crap year. You've been under pressure. You've got the perfect opportunity to put all that external noise out and say stuff and make a point. And they went and basically proved all the haters right in this case. I mean, what can you say?
Well, I have just sent you a NRL on 9 Twitter post where there's a bit of a news story there.
Yep.
I've also found... Hang on. Stop. I've also found on the Tigers website they've had 3 players interviewed today. Alex Seyfarth, Oliver Gildart, and Stefano Utoikamanu.
He's another one who's really good.
Have all had presses. I guess those are earlier in the week because of the fact we play on Friday.
Yeah, and everyone has to do certain media commitments it's all in the contracts and stuff and whatnot. Let's see if I'm right.
You can understand if you have a mental week off after rounds 11, 12, 13, you get into that Origin period, you got through the slog of the season. Round 2.
I was right. Called it.
You said it again. I was just about to pause it and tell you to go wash your mouth out again.
It's like if I was thinking it and he's thinking it, I can't imagine that's an uncommon thing then. Like I don't understand it. I really don't.
I don't think any of us do. We are even more deeply invested in the club, and yeah, we definitely don't understand.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the diehards are like, "What the hell's going on?" AJ said the Tigers now feel like Panthers in 2019, just not turning up. Well, that's the thing. Has something happened? Like we had the Tyrone May stuff in the sort of preseason of 2000 or 2019, and there was a bit of talk that affected things. I mean, is there something going on at the Tigers that's bothering things? Like there was the article saying Luke Brooks isn't happy, and the Westlife podcast guys have said that Luke Brooks was definitely shaping up to go to Newcastle. So, I mean, is that it? Is there this black hole of negativity around the team because of this is happening in the roster? Like, is he just genuinely unhappy there? Like, for whatever reason, maybe he's got real reasons for it. And does he need to go to another team just for a fresh start?
Maybe.
Like, I just had that at my job. Like, it happens in life, right? That doesn't mean you're a bad person or even a bad football player or whatever. But, maybe that's where he's at. Of course, that article could have been complete garbage, and who knows, but, when you look at the big picture, like, he doesn't look like he's playing like a happy footballer and a confident footballer, and there was that talk which sounds very, very strong about that he was going to the Knights, and I don't know.
They haven't turned up.
But
to me,
from an outside point
that's
of view,
a lot of alarms.
it looks as though they lack leadership. Michael
They
Maguire
clearly
made the
do.
decision over the off-season to appoint 5 captains.
He said that. And this is something you'll hear in my video when it does eventually come out. Would have come out sooner, but like I said, I just rewrote 1,000 words because they're getting on my nerves with how they're upsetting their own fans. So, and my main thing, the whole reason I've been positive over these last couple of years is because I want fans to be happy. And
For the people.
yeah, like the rugby league community in general, I'd like it all to be happy, and one of my big points, spoiler alert, is I don't think there's a problem with the coaching. I think they lack on-field leaders. But I won't say too much because it'll be in my video when I do bring it out. But that's
Spoilers.
spoiler alert. But I definitely feel they lack on-field leaders. And there is a decent size section on James Tarmo.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I disagree with James Hooper. Oh. Well,
Yeah, what's next? You going to agree with Buzz Rothfield, are you?
Well, I think this is a sign of the apocalypse. So everyone don't bother about going into work. No one has to go to work tomorrow because the world's coming to an end. So there you go. There's that. That's a positive, right?
I think that was basically a case where Adam Dewey's injured until the middle of the year. He's the best candidate, so he decided that everybody...
Ken Mamala was the captain yesterday?
Yes.
And he
So you as the Tigers fan, you don't know if you agree or not. I said this before him. I'm not copying him. I said it last year at the end after the Tigers doco. So I can't remember exactly how far through the year that aired again off the top of my head. And I also have to apologise. My throat's a bit sore because the rest of the family got sick, so I'm probably getting it now.
Sick off?
Yeah, but I said then that I thought he should be the captain. Seeing that doco and then seeing the way he played on the field, just he seems like the best fit. None of this 5 captain stuff. Not that I have an issue with having a leadership group. Every club has it in their own way. That's why I thought all the giving them crap about it was just silly because every club has a leadership group in one way or another. But Dewey definitely seems like he should be the captain. And I think they're just waiting for him to come back, honestly. And I think they'll make him the captain and off you go.
Kind of what I was saying pre-season as well. I think once the announcement was made, Dewey kind of the heir apparent, and everyone wants it to be him. It's just a matter of him currently being unable to play, so someone has to fill the role. But yeah, I think having 4 other people fill the role is not the smartest play.
Honestly, if I was Madge, I just would have given it to Luke Brooks. I said, right, here you go. You've got until Dewey comes back to prove yourself. Enjoy. You've been here long enough. He's been in the game. What was it? 2012, 2013 he debuted?
Might have been late 14?
14? Yeah, I can't remember the exact year. It was there somewhere.
Let me have a look. It was a game against the Dragons late in the season.
It was the one where they were calling I remember the game they were calling him the next Joey Johns and all that, and I'm like, oh my god.
They were indeed. Let me...
While you're looking at that, AJ says, I want Aaron to enjoy the football like me and Ryan do watching your team succeed. Justin says same. Well, yeah, we get to actually ride the highs. Tigers fans get very few of those. Hey, National Sports Lawyers here. Hey, NSL, how are you? That's the point.
We don't get many highs, and to be quite frank, it is rather depressing. I sat on my bed watching that game on Sunday, and as most of you know, within the first 10 minutes in our Discord, I was not happy. I just wasn't enjoying the game. I wasn't enjoying watching my team play. I'm heading up to Sydney this week to watch our game against the Warriors, and again, I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy watching us play, and I feel like that's kind of heartbreaking. I want to enjoy watching my team, but if they're going to dish up performances like what they dished up on Sunday, am I going to be able to enjoy it?
Well, no,
Ryan
you definitely
even
won't.
asked me earlier today if I felt okay doing the stream today because of how the Tigers are going. And it's just us fans, we deserve better, and we're not getting it. Like I said earlier, we had the perfect opportunity to make a bit of a statement, beat a team that were without their captain, without their first choice fullback, beat a team who have a good first home game of the season record, who we generally have a good record against. Show the rest of the comp that we're here to play some footy too, and we're not going to start the season 0-2. But we just get bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. Like, we can't string more than 2 wins together. We haven't done that since 2018. That is now almost exactly 4 years ago to the round.
Yep. The last time they won 3 in a row was rounds 4, 5, and 6 in 2018.
4, 5, and 6. We beat Parramatta, who at the time were last. I think they still hadn't won a game yet. Then we beat the Storm for the second time in 3 weeks. And then we beat Manly at Lottoland, which is a fortress for them. And that was also quite a convincing win. Since then, we've capitulated. We've won 2 games in a row. I think we might have done it 2 or 3 times in 2019. Once, maybe, in 2020. Or maybe twice then too. I think we did it once last year. Yeah, that sounds about right. We can't string back-to-back wins together. And how are you going to play finals if you're not doing that?
Yeah.
Generally, most seasons, you need to win half your games. If you can't string back-to-back wins together, then you're never gonna play finals. Get a run of 3, 4, 5 wins going. Get momentum. Get the talkers to shut the hell up and just have fun playing footy. Then the results speak for themselves. The results do the talking.
Exactly.
It's pretty difficult. It's pretty crushing just seeing crap after crap after crap. I'm now a 7th year member of the club, and the most successful season I've seen them have was that 2018 season where we finished 12 wins, 12 losses, but that was still 6 points out of the top 8 that year.
So 2018 was definitely probably your better year in recent memory. Funny enough, everyone goes off about Ivan Cleary. But the only reason you really didn't make the 8, the Warriors finished 8th. and they had an unusual amount of wins.
No, I think it was the Broncos who finished 8th, wasn't it?
I don't think it was. In 2018, double check it.
Actually, they might have. Yeah, I think they might have both finished on the same number of wins and losses.
They had 15 wins, which, if the years around it, it's actually kind of unusual. The more typical amount of wins for 8th is actually 11th. The year before was, I think, 13.
And then 2016, where the Titans scraped in. Again, they had 11 wins, 12 losses, and a draw.
Exactly. So the funny thing is that 12 wins is actually enough to make the 8. It's just
with a good for and against.
It's just for some reason, 8th spot had a lot of wins for that. I don't know how that worked out. I guess it's kind of like where this year I think the gap was between 6 and down or whatever it was. It's just that year that year's gap was just between 8th and down instead for some reason.
Oh yeah, now I remember. I've just looked it up. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all finished 16 and 8. Then 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th all finished 15 and 9.
There you go.
So, and then there was that gap to the Tigers, who were 12 and 12, and then the Raiders below them, another 2 wins below the Tigers.
Yeah. So a normal year, 12 is actually not too bad. You can make the 8 with that.
That was just a very, very top-heavy ladder that year with 4 teams 16 and 8, 4 teams 15 and 9.
Yeah. Bit of bad luck there with how the rest of the comp went too, because so some other teams' performances also hurt your finals chances there.
Yeah, that was the year we honestly could have and should have started the season 6 wins and 0 losses, with the Broncos getting that win against us in round 3 that I will never, ever forget for bad reasons.
Yeah. Right.
Now, what was I looking up? Sorry, I was just getting into Luke Brooks' debut to find out.
Yeah, that's all right. Trying to find. As you said, you beat the Dogs and the Cowboys in 2021, rounds 21 and 22. Yeah, so they've had a few back-to-back wins, but they haven't won 3 in a row since 2018. So what's that, 4 years now? And even the back-to-back wins are kind of rare. Like, they don't happen very often. They'll usually back up a good game with a really bad game. Best example of that is last year, 2021, when they played South. That was a great game. Like, they lost, but either team could have won that. That's the one where we had the really awesome gold point win.
Yeah, that heartbreaker.
Luke Brooks runs 100 meters downfield and then he gets taken off him anyway because Tom Burgess grounded the ball.
Quote unquote grounded the ball.
Well, even Madge
here it is.
saw it. Like, even Madge reacted to it as if he was like, yeah, this is grounded. So, I mean, that's why I figure, well, I don't argue with it too much.
So Brooksy debuted the 24th of August 2013. Yeah, it was round 24 against the Dragons.
Yeah.
At the SCG.
I knew it was 12 or 13. Couldn't remember which.
I'm trying to remember who it was I was thinking of who debuted in 14 then. Jeez.
Yeah, not sure, but because I'm pretty sure he's only missed one of your non-final years in this, decade run of no finals.
Yeah, we beat the Dogs and the Cowboys rounds 21 and 22 last year, and I'm pretty sure that was the only time we won back-to-back games last year.
It was considered a big deal when it happened, and that's kind of that shows the problem, doesn't it? When everyone's making a big deal about, oh my god, we won back-to-back games, it's like, well, hang on a minute.
Actually, no, we did do it twice. I thought we might have done it twice, yeah, because we also beat the Dragons and the Panthers 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, there you go. So has Brooks always been a Tiger? Yeah, he's a Tigers junior. He's never been involved with another club.
Yeah, he was a Tigers junior along with Woodsy, Teddy, and Mitch Moses. All 4 of them were Tigers juniors, and as you know, 3 of them left.
Yeah. And
Here we
that's
are.
why he should be getting a bit of pressure now. Like, he's been there all this time. He should be, he should be the leader of the club. He should be, like, putting his hand up. He should be the captain. And that should be decided because he's trying so hard to win for this club. I don't understand, like, how I don't know.
It's technically his 9th season as an NRL player, but I'd still say season 8 because I'm pretty sure he only played that one game in 2013. So he became the starting halfback in 2014. So, yeah, 14 to now 22.
So breaking news. Sorry to interrupt, but you're going to want to hear this. NRL on Twitter. Jackson Hastings will miss the next 3 matches after failing to have his dangerous throw charge downgraded at the judiciary.
Well, I was right about the attempted downgrade.
So, yeah, he was trying to downgrade it and failed. So he's going to miss 3 games.
Yep.
Ouch.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I just got that notification on my phone. I'm like, oh, you're going to want to hear that.
Who was the player who took Mitchell Moses' legs out while he was in the air? I believe he's only gotten 1 week. So there's that consistency again, hey, NRL.
Well, I mean, I'm going to stay out of that one. I mean, it's I don't know. 3 games, I don't know. Like, see, I do agree with what they're trying to protect there, because that's probably one of the most serious injuries you can get in the game if those tackles go wrong. Look at Alex McKinnon. I mean, that's the result. That's what they're trying to stop. But then you've got the other ones, which, like the cannonballs, which are getting nothing. Or maybe a fine. They're getting a fine. Like, if that's 3 weeks, the cannonball should be 2. As an example.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. It doesn't. So that's going to be fun. So I now that he's not playing, you've got no Dewey. I don't like your chances because you're most likely going to end up with either Peachy or Madden. I hope it's Madden because then at least he's a half decent footballer.
I feel pretty flat about that now, to be honest.
Yeah. I can't imagine that's going to feel too good across Tigers fans.
He's going to miss our games against the Warriors, the Titans, and the Sharks. He will come back to play the Eels on Easter Monday.
Well, that's at least something because you're going to need him then. You get flogged in that game if you don't have him.
Oh, well.
I've watched Ken Mamalo play for a long time now, and he looks like he's as quiet as a mouse. And on the wing, how's he going to have an impact on that side and lead that side from the wing? Like, that's...
Well, that's the other thing I was saying. Luke Brooks is the halfback. Right, the halfback directs the team around. He's the one who's telling people where to stand and what to do and what plays it. I think 9 times out of 10, the halfback should be the captain unless there's some other person who deserves it, who leads from the front. Like, sometimes you'll see a forward who's just, like, someone like Boyd Cordner as an example. Like, it's a good example of it, like, who really leads through action. Like, having a winger be your captain is a bit unusual to me.
I don't think there have been many captain wingers. I think one of the only ones I can think of in recent memory was Tuivasa-Sheck, but that was because he put himself on the wing to allow Walsh to play fullback.
So that was a bit different. He was a fullback to one of the spine players, which makes sense. That was him being nice because he knew he was leaving the club. So he needed development. So yeah, I don't know. They should have just said, right, Dewey's not going to be there for X amount of games. Brooks, you're it. Go out there and sort your shit out, or you don't play for the Tigers anymore. Go and prove you want to be a professional footballer. Because the other thing is, how many other clubs now are going to offer him big money after watching his 9 years or whatever it is of football? I mean, it's all well and good to not want to talk down players, but like if he goes to go to another club, it's not like he's going to get offered big money.
Yeah, especially if he's playing like a busted ass.
Yeah, like he's got the perfect opportunity to either stake his claim at the Tigers if he wants to stay at his junior club, or to at least get himself some value elsewhere. Like, he's got everything to play for. The Tigers have everything to play for as well, but like him as an individual does. I don't know.
But you
When
know,
you say
so
5 captains, it says you haven't got one captain. That's what it is.
but can we
ridiculous.
sort of
I don't agree. I think the 5 captains thing's fine by me. Like I said, everyone's got a leadership group. They just do it in their own ways. Even a fullback ex-captain is a bit weird for me. 6, 7, 9 are perfect position for captain. Yeah. Obviously, Roger had it because of who he was. He's much like a Boyd Cordner type one. You have them because they're leading by example type players, which is fine. It's going to happen every now and again. Sometimes a person will just be that guy where you cannot not give it to him, sort of thing. That makes sense. You kind of have to give it to them just because of who they are and how they play, and they really do lead by example. But otherwise, yes, I think those 6, 7, 9 should be, one of them should be the captain.
Also, did they really just say having more than one captain tells me you don't have a captain or something like that?
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm just thinking
basically
to
what it
myself,
says.
okay,
So he said
how many
having
other
5.
clubs?
He said having 5 captains shows that you don't have one.
I thought he said more than one. I was about
Yeah.
to say, if he said more than one, it's like, well, the Panthers have more than one. Are you going to say that about them? The Knights have more than one. Want to say that about them too?
That's my point. Like, it's, I don't know. I get what he's saying, and I think it's true to an extent, but I think it's faulty logic because we all believe Dewey should be it, but it could just be Madge's way of trying to make some more senior guys accountable, and thought it would help the responsibility make them own up. Whether it works or not, who knows, but no, I don't think it has, but still.
You'd hope so.
Tales of Tiger Town last year, no one else but Mad spoke in the sheds at half time or at full time.
I disagree. Brooksy spoke in the sheds at halftime in round 1. There was also that game where we got thumped by the Storm and Madge left them alone, and Mbai did some talking in the sheds at halftime.
Yeah, like, what is he talking? That doesn't make any sense. For a start, it's a very much edited show. They will show what they want to show and not show what they don't want to show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that criticism. That doesn't make any sense at all. Because it's just as simple as just editing out. Because they wanted to show the dramatic. They wanted to show the dramatic stuff of Madge swearing in the sheds. That's basically what they were going for.
Yeah, it's the Tigers though, so they get away with it. They know it.
Yeah, like, we know for a fact some of the players would be talking. Like, that's just such a stupid thing to say. We know for a fact, and we could probably go back and prove it if we really wanted to. Like, what?
And what you've also got, what makes the West Tigers performance worse is that Clemmer, Brayley, Ponga and Saifida were all that. They're their 4 highest paid players. Newcastle was seriously down on troops.
Though they did play reasonably well. And you have to give me a moment. I'm going to be right back.
Mm-hmm. Emergency in the old Panther household. While we wait for him, chat, give me your game you're most looking forward to in round 3 that your team aren't playing in. Tell me what games we're excited about. Try and hype me up for round 3 while I'm not feeling the hype myself. Also, congratulations to both you, AJ, and Justin for your team's starts to the season. NSL, if you're still hanging around, commiserations on the pretty tough loss. That couldn't have been easy to watch. Roosters versus Rabbits. Yeah, that's always a good one. That's going to be a pretty good game. You've got the 1-1 Roosters, the surprise round 1 loss coming up against the Rabbits, who've had, well, a surprise loss and a heartbreaking loss. So there's going to be a lot of hype in that one as well about the Mitchell versus Manu rematch. And to be honest, I won't be surprised if that's what they talk about in the whole lead up. What about you, AJ? Is there a game other than the Panthers game that you're looking forward to the most?
I am back.
I was giving the chat. I asked the chat a question while we waited for you.
Ooh.
I was asking
Justin
them,
said, hang on, I can guess this. So he says Roosters versus Rabbitohs. I assume these are teams we're removing from the competition.
No.
I was, damn.
I asked them, what game in round 3 are they most looking forward to that their team isn't playing in?
Oh, interesting question.
Because I said, I'm not particularly hyped for round 3, so try and get me hyped. AJ, Storm vs. Para. Yeah, that's always... Well, that's been built up as a pretty interesting game recently, especially since...
and they beat them
Para
twice last year.
The only team to beat the Storm twice last year. Yeah, that was... The Storm are going to have a bit of revenge on their mind, I reckon.
Yeah, they don't like getting beat. So they take it kind of personal. It's like, I took that personally.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Let me have a look at the draw quickly. Sharks Dragons should be alright. They always sort of show up against each other. Just because of the derby.
It's one of those good derbies.
Even if they're, even like when the Dragons have been kind of bad the last few years or whatever, they've always shown up to those games. I had to pick one on its own. I think I'm gonna have to say the Tigers game.
You're looking forward to the Tigers game.
Because I think that game there, I think will determine straight up whether the Tigers will get the spoon or not.
Yeah, it's
like I know it's early.
It's gonna be scary.
Yeah, like I know it's early and all, but it's like you'll see whether they've got any effort or not. AJ says, Justin said, have you seen the Broncos heritage jersey? He asked you.
I have, and I do like it.
It looks pretty sexy.
I also like the jersey the Tigers are going to be wearing for Multicultural Round this weekend, and I think it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of the co-captains here.
Yeah.
Come up with the world's dumbest plays.
Oh, it's that moment. They showed the moment.
I have questions about what happened before that moment, but anyway.
Like, I don't understand what he was doing. Like, he's experienced enough now. He's been around long enough. And he particularly seemed like he did not care. It's like, I'm getting paid. Stuff the lot of yous.
And then the way he reacted to the send-off, just like, no, why? But in saying that, we should have had the ball at that point. I still don't understand how this, like, concussion, stopping the play in the middle of a play works or is fair, because just before the whistle had blown to
I
stop
know what
play,
you're about to say.
the Knights had lost the ball.
Oh, yeah, because that was mentioned. I was actually in the Reddit match thread at the time, and everyone was like, hang on. There was a knock on there. What's going on? And apparently it's like...
Why do they have the ball back?
Yeah. It's like they got distracted and forgot about the rules. So, yeah, Tigers should have had the ball. AJ said, I like watching Bellamy lose his mind in the box when they're losing. That's pretty funny. That'll never get old.
Speaking of which, did they actually ever show Bellamy in the box while they were losing to the Tigers?
They might have, but I don't remember
it. I wasn't watching on TV, so I don't know.
If they did it, I don't remember it.
Yeah, I'm just so annoyed that they knocked on, play was stopped, but they keep the ball. Like, how even? And then just to compound it, we give a 6 again, and then to compound that, Peachy gives away a professional foul, and we're just gone. We're just straight up gone.
Yeah, it's not good.
Hey, Pete, welcome.
Hey, Pete, how are you? Happy to see you, and congrats on your Broncos being undefeated. Top 4 team. Are they in the top 4 now? I don't know. It's flip-flopping because of the start of the year.
They are. The Broncos are in the top 4. All 4 of the teams who are 2-0 are in the top 4. So it's the Knights, the Panthers, the Broncos, and the Storm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, because I was thinking, because I think it was the Cowboys were up there and then the Broncos took over them, so that Queensland rivalry is already going.
Yeah, it's a bloody top-of-the-table clash between the Broncos and the Cowboys in round 3. Who would have thought that?
That used to be so exciting, and I think they went on a run of winning games by 1 point. That was always really cool. There were some fun games.
It started with the 2015 grand final, and then it continued. I think both times they met in 2016 regular season, and then in the 2016 final series, they had an extra time game. Yeah, that rivalry for a period there was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, Benji's the next legend. He said it wasn't first grade standard.
Oh my god. You know, I know everyone gave 360 crap for talking over, what was it, Lara Pitt or whatever? Is that who it was? But it's what they do. And then you can't hear half of what they're saying. Maybe you guys can, I don't know, but I wish they'd shut up and just one at a time, guys. The ability to talk over someone else doesn't make you right. Your audience can't
make you more of a man.
No, it's not like you're not proving anything. I can't hear you as an audience member. And if I can't hear your point, well, what's the damn point? It's like you want us to watch your show. Be coherent. You sound like someone's got a bunch of geese and thrown them in a cage together. Which, while amusing for 5 seconds, it gets old very fast.
He said it wasn't first grade standard.
How long's Madge got then?
Spot on.
How long's Madge got?
Look, I've said I don't think Madge is the problem.
What's the problem?
The players.
All right, so it looks like me and Kenty are on the same page here. I might send him some chocolates or something. I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, I agree with Kenty about something. This is absolutely wild.
Stop the presses.
Madge is not the one out there playing. Madge is not the one out there making or missing the tackles. Madge is not the one giving away stupid fucking sin bins.
Yeah. Like,
it's an attitude thing. It's the players.
The things we're seeing them do negatively aren't coaching errors, I don't think. Like, they're very passive in defense when they have their bad games. And you can see when they have their good games, they're not. So it says to me, when they actually play to what the coaches are telling them, they play well and they have good games. South last year, even the game against us last year, even though we were missing players, like, they still played well and earned that win. Like, the game last week against the Storm when they were winning, you know, there are moments there where you can see the coaching coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Or then you go to the Manly game last year or this game just this week, like, where they're very passive in defense, and you see the attitude just isn't there. And it's like, Madge isn't teaching them to do that. You will never convince me Madge is teaching them to be passive, just nobodies in defense who don't want to make contact and are giving away, you know, all these meters in defense and then making like 20 meters in attack. Like, that is not, Madge would never coach that. I just don't believe it for a second.
Yeah. You also got a little bit staticky and robot-y there. I don't know if it was for chat as well, but
Maybe.
You had a bit of a moment there on my end.
Okay, I don't know. My voice is also really a bit messed up. My throat's not doing well, so I do apologize again, as I mentioned earlier, so we'll see. Hey, you never know. At least maybe I'll get a week off work, but I doubt it. I think it's just normal stuff that goes around. Which everyone's forgotten with all the COVID stuff, that people have normal sick stuff that happens like every year.
Yeah. Cold and flu season is coming up. Let's get through that, eh?
And especially I got at least one school-age child, so they go to school and they pick up just random stuff and then bring it home. So it's super fun.
Yeah, like the chicken pox.
The players. And I don't know, look, I think the CEO's got to start getting... The roster's terrible. It's
hopelessly been out of shape.
It's out of shape.
That sucks. He was about to say something about the CEO and then got distracted by Hooper, I think. Oh, I would have loved to have heard what his thought was on that.
Maybe he gets around to it in a moment.
Maybe, but I definitely, especially listening to the Westlife podcast, they definitely have talked about the upper management a few times. There was that really big episode, probably one of their most popular, where they had the business guy on who deals with the Tigers and that.
Rippadina.
Yeah, and that was an interesting one. So would have been keen to hear what Ken had to say there. Hopefully he gets to it, but I think if they wanted to look at that and say there's a problem there, I don't think too many people would argue too hard.
Mm.
There's players there that are not Michael Maguire players. James Roberts has never been a Michael Maguire type player. Michael Maguire's, he wants tough, relentless. James Roberts is, you know, he's had to be cajoled his whole career. He's got super talent, but he's never...
Yeah, basically he doesn't like players who need a hug. He wants to tell you to get off your butt and pull your finger out and do your job.
Get together in a hurry.
Yeah, he's not the type. He won't give players a hug and say, there, it's okay. I don't think he's that type, like, say, a Wayne Bennett, who can pretty much give every player what they need. He's very much the drill.
That's the thing.
Instructor type.
The players he's signed are all there now. Every player at the club is a player he's either signed or re-signed.
Yeah.
So every player there, by this point, should be buying into what he's doing.
Well, that's it. It's his team, and that's why, you know, I think we've all said at least give him this year or next year or whatever it is, because he's finally got his roster. This is now his team and his club to do what he will with. They can no longer lean on the Ivan Cleary thing.
Especially next year, we've got a couple good signings coming to the club next year. Isaiah Papali'i, Coruscant.
Exactly, and
I think there was someone else I'm missing.
If they still fail with that, then yeah, he's done for.
The question is, will he even see it out to next year?
I think he should, but who knows? The media is going to be coming after them hard this year.
They always do. It's nothing unusual.
I know there's been talk around where Fox particularly are pushing like Flanagan for the job or whatever. So we'll see.
Yeah, but hang on, Kenty. In fairness, Madge fought to keep James Roberts over this summer. They put him on a train and trial contract, and Madge went in to bat for him. Well,
he was desperate.
Yeah, but he's made that decision. So as the head coach,
who are you going to sign? I would love to know.
There were not a lot of players he could sign this year. It's next year where there are some players who are available.
Yeah, like it's all well and good to say, well, he gave him a chance, but there is nobody like it. We've just promoted a rookie in Targo to replace Burton, who was playing there, and Burton was a half, who we turned into a centre, and it worked because he's just such a naturally gifted footballer. Like, centre is one of those positions you don't have a lot of players at the moment. And I hope my audio sounds better now.
Yeah, no problems thus far.
Oh, very good.
he has decided to give him another
So the damage done before Madge got there with the... I mean, they've always paid overs for players who haven't delivered it. And did he pay the price with the roster he's taken on, or has he just not achieved?
No question. There was an epic hangover when I've...
Oh, I knew he was going to say it. They can't help themselves.
It's always going to be the way.
Upton left them to go back to the Panthers because he'd signed a variety of different players on long-term contracts, big money, and it bit them on the arse. Big time.
And it also happened when...
But you have to. The situation the Tigers were in by the time Ivan Cleary got there, it had to be done that way. Because players don't want to go there. We had the same thing when Gus came in 2011. He came over. Like, we weren't just, all these junior players. We had to sign a bunch of random guys and hope for the best on whatever deals they could get them to sign. And then it wasn't till later that you start slowly seeing a trickle in of the juniors come through. Like,
it is now very much at that point where the Ivan related excuses are gone. Yeah, he did damage, but it's now been the amount of time past that damage where the club has had the chance to fix said damage.
Like, if they're going to keep doing that year after year after year after year, nothing will ever get better because it's like you're just making excuses and everyone will just point to this external thing. Go, oh, that's okay. That's our boogeyman. It's okay. That's why. We won't look internally and see what we can do. You need solutions. Like, that just... It bugs me even last year. Like, you get to the point where you're like, okay, at some point you've got to start taking responsibility for the club you're running and actually do something about it. But I don't know how much internally they're doing it. Like, the media, obviously, these guys like to push it because it's drama. But, yeah, the club might not see it that way at all. I don't know.
They lost the 4 players, or 3 of the 4 players.
Because, like I will say, even if it was true, right? Like, the thought gives you the excuse not to improve. That makes sense. Yep. Like, well, I don't think it's true. Like, Madge's got his roster now. Like, you even said it before. Like, he's can do his own thing now. But even if there was some kind of weird hangover period or whatever what Hooper said. Like, if you lean on that, it's just going to give you an excuse not to fix the problem because it's someone else's fault. It's not my fault. I'm doing the best I can, but, you know, I'm given a situation I can't win, so I'm not going to try.
It was this bloke before me who did the damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you need to be accountable to yourself, and everyone does in their position, and be looking for solutions. How do we fix this? What do we do?
Be proactive.
Exactly.
But you know what, guys?
Tedesco, Woods and Moses.
It's interesting, all our focus now is West Tigers. They play the Warriors this week, and why doesn't anyone talk about Nathan Brown under similar sort of pressure? And I rang Aaron Wallace today to get...
How, like, I will stop it there, but how is Nathan Brown under pressure? Isn't like his second year there or whatever?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like, what's he under pressure for? I mean... Sure, they want to win, but his second year there, they've had all this COVID stuff where they haven't been able to play pretty much any games at home. I mean, maybe cut them a bit of slack, give them a bit of a break. Like, come on, guys. Like, what? This is no way the same as the Tigers.
And that's all the same reasons why I was very shocked that they gave Kearney the sack.
Yeah.
I'm just all like, can we get to 2023 already?
Let's just fast forward. We'll skip to it. Skippity skip.
2022 just didn't happen. Let's go.
Calling it a write-off. That's it. But yeah, I don't know. I think that was a weird one. That one just caught me off guard. But I hadn't paused it in time, and he was like, "Oh my god, Nathan Brown!" I'm like, whoa, calm down, bro. So the last one we will mention on our media reactoring. NRL defends decision to position independent doctors in bunker instead of on sideline for concussion rulings. So obviously a big one seen over the weekend. That's on ABC News. Remember in our game we had both Sean O'Sullivan and Jack Bird went off. And a lot of people were like, maybe they shouldn't have.
Yeah, I was trying to find my pen. I lost my pen to take my note.
Oh, that's it. Definitely cancelling the season now.
Aaron's falling apart.
It's done. See what you've done in NRL. See, Tigers, what have you done? It's all Tigers' fault. I'm writing a letter after this.
In protest, let's go.
Yes. Article says the NRL has rejected claims that its independent doctor cannot get a feel for the game while in the bunker, reminding coaches that a response to a head knock is not a football decision. Michael Maguire became the latest mentor to question the NRL's new process on Sunday, claiming confusion in West Tigers' loss to Newcastle. Under the system, spotters sit inside the bunker and mark potential knocks to the head while watching various live angles. An independent doctor closely reviews a player's response to any marked incidents before communicating to the referee if they need to be taken from the field and assessed for concussion. The process saw Victor Radley and Billy Smith ruled out of games in the opening round, despite both Sydney Roosters players claiming they had not suffered a head injury. I mean, wouldn't they say that anyway, though? I don't think players particularly want to go off. AJ says, I remember getting petrol and thinking we could win now. Yeah, it happens. Like, players... Tigers aren't the only club in the world who have had to overpay players to come to their club or whatever. It's like you start there while you're building up in the background, and then as you get better, you make better deals and so on and so on. Tigers particularly could have a good junior base if they worked on it. We're not the only ones out there, believe it or not. But it'll take time.
This is true. Oh wow! I've just seen the odds for Tigers versus Warriors. On Sunday before we played, we were even odds at $1.90 each, and already the Tigers are out to $2.15 with the Warriors at $1.71.
I reckon the Hastings suspension is probably, now that that's come in, has probably affected things.
That's true. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
I reckon some money would have gone around the other way once that came in. not a big better, but
yeah, I would say so.
yeah, not a big gambler, but yeah, I imagine once that news came through, they're like, "Oop, Tigers suck."
Let's go. Let's pile on them.
Which that does hurt them, like we've already said. He's been very good for them. So, all right. Tigers winger David Nofaluma also claimed he did not know why he was being removed on Sunday before passing a head injury assessment and later returning. I mean, yeah, it would kind of suck. Though not knowing why he was being removed might be a sign of concussion. But no.
Well, I mean, they showed the replay of that hit on him, and it didn't even look that bad. At least in my opinion, anyway.
Well, I didn't think Jack Bird was with the same sort of thing. Like, he just looked like he had a sore nose, and he was like, "Oh, that hurt." Oh, I mean,
he also kind of stayed down to attempt to draw the penalty.
Which is one thing I kind of don't mind if he's going to get rid of that, because then the player has to weigh up the risk reward of, okay, I might get a penalty, but I also might go off.
The problem is, though, if that penalty, if it's like, if the game's tied and you're 10 metres out from the posts and a player does that, that's like an instant penalty, get you in the lead sort of deal.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, so...
Like 5 minutes left in the game, if them going off isn't going to matter all that much.
Yeah, probably not. Article goes on to say, the incident prompted Maguire to question if having a doctor away from the ground was the right process. You have someone who is not there getting a feel for what is going on. Maguire said, those things need to be sorted out. It definitely needs to be looked at. But the NRL's head of football stressed on Monday the feel for the game mattered little in assessing head knocks. He also pointed out independent doctors were now in a better space to assess reaction to knocks, rather than club doctors viewing a screen on the sideline. Among the elements and noise of the game. These are not football decisions. You don't need a feel for the game, Ainsley said. Replay suggested the issue the bunker was concerned about on Nofaluma came from contact with Lachlan Fitzgibbon's shoulder. It's understood that was assessed by the match review committee on Monday, but did not require a charge. The bunker does have the power to have players placed on report, sin-binned, or sent off if head contact is deemed dangerous. So yeah, Ainsley also defended Penrith half Sean O'Sullivan being classified as a Category 2 HIA rather than Category 1 after a late contact from Jaden Sewer. Ainsley said O'Sullivan had been having a neck injury assessed when he stayed down rather than showing ill effects from the hit. It meant he was not automatically ruled out of the match and was able to return after 15 minutes when he passed his HIA. Ainsley also indicated that he was okay with the call for Sewer to be sin-binned for the contact, which is just objectively wrong. Just want to point out.
I agree with that.
I'm going to see if I can find it. Hang on, give me a minute.
I think the problem with the HIA stuff with the independent judge in the bunker or whatever is the timing. Because if, like what happened with us, the Knights make an error, but the whistle is blown and they keep the ball after making an error. That's the sort of thing that shouldn't be happening.
So we can find it. Someone times it, but it's going to take me a bit to find the post. Because the Sewer one is, where is it? Apparently it is under basically the human, like, reaction time.
I think it was. I think I saw someone post that it was under the human reaction time.
Yeah, it's definitely come up. I'm just trying to find it. Here we go. Sewer's late hit clocking under human reaction time. So just get that up and pause it. Then I'll pull that up so you can see it here. put it on Imager. It's like 0.02 seconds, or not even
0.14.
Yeah, like that's, and
bang, yeah.
Like it's, humans cannot possibly react that quickly, apparently. So
no, especially not when you're that close to the player and already in the motion of making contact.
Yeah, so I definitely think they were hard done by with that call. Funny enough, the one that I thought should have been a send-off, which was Burgess like 5 seconds later, where he smacks Luai in the face after he's kicked the ball. That should have been the send-off, not the Sewer one. But the one that should have been a send-off wasn't. Like, so I don't, like, the officiating in that game was just so all over the place. The stuff that should have been called wasn't. The stuff that was called shouldn't have been, and
you there?
Yeah, my lovely angels screaming in the background like they're being murdered. So either they're being murdered, either they're being murdered or they're watching the Tigers play. I can't decide.
Or both.
Well, it's probably the same thing at this point.
Watching the Tigers play is murder at this point.
Yeah, so it's the same thing.
Cruel and unusual punishment.
Oh. Because it is getting a bit later, so they get a bit restless.
Yeah, we might have to do a rapid fire round 3 preview.
Yeah, I think so. But hey, I'm thankful for that. The person who posted that on Reddit, Return the Urn. Good name. So yeah, little shout out to them for posting that. That was a really interesting. Yeah, they put it in the thing. 0.14 seconds. Like, that is ridiculously quick, but I don't know how he gets Simbin for that. But anyway, so yes, round 3. Let's go through the week. All right, so obviously, game 1 Thursday, Sharks Dragons, which we briefly mentioned earlier, is that local derby.
Mm-hmm. This one could go either way. Both teams are 1-1. This could be anything. Both teams have shown good and both teams have shown bad. Both teams have been both lucky and unlucky. This one's going to be a very interesting one to start the 2022 third round. I'm probably at this point leaning towards the Sharks having the momentum of the win against the Eels.
Yeah. I don't know. The Dragons did play up-tempo and really well, so I don't know. But they made a lot of errors. I think those errors, which is kind of indicative of an Anthony Griffin team. I think they were getting up because there was the emotion of there was playing against us for a start, which is, you know, the team that sacked Anthony Griffin, and then they did the remembrance stuff for and my brain's going to sleep.
It do be like that sometimes.
It does. This is what happens when you have children. They said it's all great and cute and fun until you get the lack of sleep. And then you're like, can't even remember basic things. But yeah, they had the memorial for the players who passed. Whatnot. A lot of emotion around the game for them. So I don't know if they're gonna bring that a couple of weeks in a row. And on top of it, I'm starting to get a bit sick, so that's great.
Oh no.
Game 2. South versus Roosters. AJ says you could always turn that tiger into a panther, Aaron. Wink.
Maybe I'll just swap everything out for the Cincinnati Bengals at the moment, and because at least they can make playoffs and get to a Super Bowl. Can't win it, but can at least make it there. Just better than anything the West Tigers have done in the last decade.
See what you've done, Tigers. You've completely driven him from the NRL.
Oh, well. They've got some time to get me back on side. Let's see if they can pull it off.
Well, yeah, that's the one advantage they've got is time on their side, but they make use of it or not. Like I said, I think this game will determine whether they get the spoon or not. I know it's early, but if they don't show up again, even if they lose and they put in a lot of effort and you're like, oh, well, missing Hastings and Dewey and all that, fair enough. But if they play like they're completely busted, well, then they can get stuffed.
It might be up to Dewey to be the one to make sure that the spoon doesn't end up in our trophy cabinet after he comes back, which would be a horrifying scenario.
Yeah.
I don't even know who I'm going to tip. Yeah.
I think most people will be tipping Warriors.
Probably.
Like, even just with Hastings out, like, your half situation is going to be interesting.
I probably won't make a tip for that one until I see how the halves are changed when the team is updated on Thursday evening.
Sorry, chat. Aaron's not tipping.
Not yet. There's money on the line.
Well, what are the options? Say you got Peachy or Madden, so which way would you go with either of those?
Keep Peachy at 14. Have Madden in the starting side. Move Peachy into the halves if Madden needs a break. So you can obviously give Simpkin a break for a little bit. Bring Simpkin back on. Take Madden off instead and just move Peachy from hooker to 5'8".
All right, so if your halves are Brooks and Madden, which way would you tip then?
Gee whiz. I don't know. Madden has shown glimpses, but he hasn't really shown anything to get me overly excited. At this point, I'm probably going to do the safe tip and tip the Warriors and hope the Tigers prove me wrong.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say a lot of people are going to be doing that.
But I'll see.
I'll tip the Warriors and see how we go from there. Hope the Tigers go well.
With your heart this week, eh?
Honestly, my heart's saying the Tigers.
We're screwed.
Yeah. Just because at least, like I said, against Melbourne, they looked like they were putting in the effort, and I thought, okay, cool. But last week, they didn't even have that. And it's just like, well, what's the point? Like, if you're not going to put in the effort, well, I'm not going to sit there and say you're in it, you're going to win.
It's going to be up to the players to shut everyone up.
Exactly.
Let the players do the talk.
All right, we got Friday, 8 o'clock, Rabbits Roosters. I'm straight up picking Roosters.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Roosters at the moment too. The Rabbits will be hurting after the round 2 loss, and that's going to inspire them. But I think the Roosters players in particular are really going to get into Latrell and really limit his output after what he did to Manu last year. And I think that's going to basically be what gives the Roosters the win. Just limited Latrell output.
Yeah. And I think their roster's still a bit of a mess. They're still working out how they want to play and whatnot. Even if they do end up coming good, it's not going to be this week. Still a bit early.
Yep, they need a bit more time.
Which is fine. They've had changes and stuff that happens, but, you know. All right, Saturday, 3 p.m. Oh, man, I'm going to have to drive home really quick to get home for that. It's Panthers versus Knights at Bathurst.
Indeed it is.
It's almost home ground for you.
Yeah, almost.
Have we played the Tigers
45
there
minutes away. No, so you've played Manly, the Storm, the Sharks, and the Cowboys, I believe. And I think you might have played the Sharks twice, because I'm pretty sure this is game number 6 in Bathurst for them.
That's a shame. They'll have to do it one day because then it'll be right near you.
But you've only played 4 different teams. So, I'm pretty sure, this is the 5th opponent you've played out there.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm tipping us, but I am a bit worried about it with who we're missing, and the Knights seem to be putting in decent effort this year.
The Knights are also expecting Ponga back.
Yep, they've named him at fullback.
And you've had some pretty big outs and some pretty big injuries over the first 2 rounds. Although it looks like you might be getting Cleary back, which could very, very much make things interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's one that worries me a bit.
I'll lean to the Panthers for now and see how it all goes.
I don't think Cleary will play, but there is a decent chance because he's the kind of guy who he said himself before he hates watching. He wants to be out there playing, so it might be a case of, Dad, let me play. Come on. And he finally kind of gives into the nagging eventually.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, you can't be that far off. They said round 4 anyway, so like round 3 is like 1 week earlier. I don't think he's going to be that far off from 100% anyway, so.
Yeah, well, close enough, eh?
Yeah. We haven't seen NSL for a bit, but up next is Storm Eels.
This one's going to be interesting. The Storm undefeated, but not convincing in either game. The Eels also relatively unconvincing in both games. 1 win, 1 loss. Conceded a whole lot of points, particularly in that win. This one's going to be interesting. I'm leaning towards the Storm purely because they're the Storm. And that's really about all I've got to say on that one so far.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good game if they both turn up based on last year's. But yeah, I'll tip the Storm, but Raiders, Titans, I'm tipping the Titans. I think they're playing better than the Raiders at the moment.
Yeah, the Raiders weren't expected to lose that game against the Cowboys, so yeah, and the Titans have the attacking flair at the moment, so it's hard to see them losing this one.
Yeah. And the Queensland Derby. Is Justin still here in chat? Broncos, Cowboys. We do have a Cowboys fan in there who doesn't come in and watch and get in the chat, but he's in the Discord, so this should be a fun game.
I was about to say, I'm sure the banter will be there during the week.
I am looking forward to it, honestly. This one I'm not actually sure who to tip. I will basically have to just, I guess, pick one and see what happens. Because they both actually look alright.
I'm leaning towards the Broncos, but I'm not leaning towards them confidently. This could be an anything happens. Anything could happen game.
Yeah, I'll probably tip the Broncos, but I'm going to say the same thing. It's not particularly confident.
If the Cowboys had lost to the Raiders, I probably would just straight up be tipping the Broncos. But that win against the Raiders for them has completely thrown me out.
So, I mean, a lot of the teams this year are playing with a lot more effort and direction than expected. Much like our next game. You got Bulldogs versus Seagulls versus Manly. It's the last game of the round. See, Manly should win this easily, But the question is, will they?
I find it a little bit hard to think that they'll start the season 0-3 playing the Bulldogs. This is the one where they probably should get that win on the board.
You think they'll use it to kind of make a point to themselves?
I think so. Their for and against is already the worst out of everyone, so I feel like this will be the one where they go out there, try and make a statement, and try and get back on track, I guess.
Yeah. Obviously, I think everyone's tipping Manly. I will, but I would not be surprised if the Bulldogs at least give them a hard time. But then again, Turbo could just score 1,000 points and it won't matter. But
I reckon it'll be close for the first 30 or so.
Yeah.
But then Manly should run away with it a little bit into the second half.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. But yep. Any final thoughts?
Bring on season 2023.
All right, let's go. I'll just press the button over here, and I'll just press my button, and we'll just skip right over it.
See you next year, everyone.
Automatic back-to-back for Penrith. By the way, back-to-back.
No,
We're
thanks.
going just
thanks.
All the back-to-backs.
I disagree.
Hey, you want to skip? That's why they say.
Doesn't mean I want to award you guys the premiership now.
This is why they say be careful of what you wish for. It's like the monkey paw. See, you get what you want, but at what cost?
My soul. At this point, it's straight up my soul.
Well, we'll see. Good luck to everyone for the weekend. Make sure to copy the link and share it around. Get some more people in from their teams, and it'd be great to see chat going off a bit and different fans and whatnot. But yeah,
let's see if the Tigers can win this weekend, and we have a really, really hype stream after we win 40-0, and Aaron can get hyped for the rest of the season again.
Come on, Tigers, help Aaron out. All right, guys, you all have a good night, and we will catch the Discord every day. We talk as much as we're able to around life and work and everything. I might put the Discord link in the description. Yeah, we'll go from there. I agree. Aaron, skip 2022. We get back-to-back premiership. See, in AJ's unbiased opinion, he agrees. So,
AJ, don't make me go and press that block button again.
Be careful what you wish for. All right, night all.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Good luck to the Broncos. Good luck to the Panthers. Good luck to the Tigers. Hopefully they show up. That would be much appreciated. And good night, everyone. Enjoy round 3. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and all that good fun stuff. And
YouTube loves it when people comment, so do those things.
Yeah, invite your friends.
Exactly.
Party in the comment section, and then a party in the stream next week. Let's go.